Hi, everyone, I'm Dan Abrams, and this is Court Case.
Ready to take your plea?
Yeah! I'll kill all you. I hope you die in prison as well.
First up, we're in Columbus, Ohio, at the Franklin County Government Center for the sentencing of 44-year-old Donald Mullins. He was found guilty of aggravated burglary, robbery, and theft. Mullins had stolen $500 from an elderly neighbor. But a sweet tooth proved to be his undoing, as his DNA was found at the scene, on a cookie. At sentencing, Judge Mark Surratt issues Mullins a sentence of 4 to 6 years in prison. But this defendant has a much sweeter deal in mind. Mullins flees the 6th floor courtroom and 2 deputies quickly follow behind. Mullins appears to let go of a radio that was secured to one of the deputies' uniforms before jumping over a balcony railing and landing on the 5th floor. The 2 deputies continue their pursuit while 2 others join the scene. And soon the commotion catches the attention of several onlookers, including this guy who was just sitting on a bench in the hallway minding his own business. As for Mullins, his escape attempt has a bitter ending when he lands on the 5th floor and is badly injured. He's unable to get up and lays on the floor for several minutes with law enforcement surrounding him. He was later taken to Grant Medical Center, where he was treated for a broken leg and a head injury. Donald Mullins was charged with escaping custody and was expected to get additional time for his failed getaway. Next, we're in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a bond hearing. 29-year-old Jermaine Levy was charged with trespassing after he allegedly refused to leave a liquor store at the manager's request. Earlier, Levy had a short chat with Judge Michael Davis, and now greets him with a dose of enthusiasm.
All right, good morning, Mr. Levy. You're charged with...
Good morning again, sir.
Good morning again. You're charged with a trespass.
I'm charged with trees.
He's been charged with, so he bluntly interrupts the judge.
Trespass.
I'm charged with trees.
Yeah, I'm gonna find...
Weed.
After clarifying his charges for trespassing, not marijuana, Levy asked the public defender to join the conversation.
I'm gonna find probable cause for the trespass. I'm gonna
No,
find
no,
the
no,
public
no. Get my
defender.
lawyers off me.
I'm gonna...
Off camera, the public defender chimes in.
Judge, in accordance to, I spoke with Mr. Lee.
Can I get an ROR?
Let me ask.
Levy's asking for an ROR, which means released on own recognizance, meaning there wouldn't be cash bail set. Despite sounding annoyed by Levy's interruption,
Let me ask.
the public defender makes the request.
He's charged with a simple trespass. I'm respectfully asking that he be released on his own recognizance.
But without missing a beat, the judge gives a simple answer.
I understand. That's denied. You'll see Judge Lerner in soon. Good luck, sir.
And that's when Levy sends his own message. And no, those are not 2 thumbs up.
All done. All right.
Jermaine Levy later pleaded no contest to the trespassing charge and was ordered to pay $293 in court fees. Next, we head to the Franklin County Courthouse in Columbus, Ohio. The morning arraignment just finished, and a group of female defendants are being loaded onto a bus on their way to jail. Keep your eyes on the 2 women in the back of the line. They just slipped under the carriage of the bus in a bold attempt to escape. These brazen women are Tracy Mobley, 39, charged with aggravated theft, and Mary Morrissey, 40, charged with a number of traffic violations, including drunken driving. The 2 women apparently concocted this plan on their way to the bus. Here they are near the end of the line. Notice how they step quickly and move to the back. As you can see, their legs are free, but they're shackled at the wrists to each other. And without a security guard in sight, they put the plan into action. Watch again as they casually scoot under the bus. With both women now clinging to the undercarriage, the ride begins. About 20 seconds later, the bus stops at a light, and the defendants make their move. There's Morrissey over by the wall. Somehow she's broken free from Mobley. Sitting in this car is Terry Meyer, who just happens to work for a private detective agency. He sees what's happening, so he gets out and chases after Morrissey. Meanwhile, off camera, Mobley has also fled the scene. But police detective Amy Morris, who was on her way to court, sees Mobley, tackles her to the ground, and turns her in. Meanwhile, Meyer also manages to return Morrissey to the courthouse as well. She suffers no serious injuries and is returned to police. Mobley, however, is not so lucky. She suffers a broken back during the attempted escape and is taken to a hospital. In addition to their pending cases, both women are later charged with felony escape. Next, we head to Skokie, Illinois. 30-year-old Jerome Townsel's here for a bond hearing. The charge? Criminal trespassing. Before he sees the judge, Townsel makes a phone call. Perhaps to his attorney or a family member. A couple of deputies keep watch, as this guy quietly waits for Townsel to finish. He's been on for about 30 seconds and everything looks fine. It's been over a minute now and Townsel's still chatting away. He's been on for 3 minutes and the officers seem to be growing impatient. One motions to him, perhaps telling Townsel to wrap it up. Townsel appears frustrated. He even gives the deputies the hang on a second gesture. Perhaps feeling the gesture wasn't enough, he tries a different approach. Townsel squares up with fists drawn. The deputy gives him a shove and then punches begin flying. 4 deputies are now on the scene. This female deputy strikes the resisting defendant. Finally, the deputies get Townsel in cuffs. By now, it looks like 8 deputies have arrived to make sure the defendant goes quietly. Townsel's taken away as this guy re-enters the picture, perhaps hoping his phone call goes a bit better. The 4 deputies were all taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Townsel refused medical treatment and later appeared before a judge where he was ordered held in lieu of a $150,000 bond. Additional charges are expected. We're headed south, way south, to Wollongong, Australia for a sentencing hearing. Seated inside what's known as the dock is the defendant, 25-year-old Jesse Rhodes, wounded for an assault captured in this surveillance video. After receiving a complaint about Rose's drunken behavior in a pub, he and his mate are asked to leave by security. But when he refuses, a second camera shows things turning physical, and one of the security guards ends up on the floor. Backing away from the situation, Rose then hurls his drinking glass at the downed man, striking him in the head. The guard suffered serious injuries, including a laceration and depressed skull. Now at sentencing, Rose's attorney made a case to not send him to jail, claiming he's a changed man, holding down a steady job and living on the straight and narrow. But Judge Andrew Hasler makes it clear this is no kangaroo court, stating that the assault was too serious to consider leniency. And right about now, he announces Rose's sentence, 14 months in prison. But as one door closes for the defendant, he kicks another one wide open. Unhappy with his sentence, Rose perhaps channels his rugby days and boots open the divider door. It's unclear what he says to these two security guards. One guard takes a step or two back. After some more jawing, Rose takes things up a notch and throws not one, but 2 chairs at the guards. Those are not folding chairs Rose just tossed. Those are standard office chairs weighing up to 60 pounds, or 27 kilograms in Australia. What you might have missed is this guard who sneaks around the backside of the dock and, like a boomerang, flies back into action. First bobbing and weaving, then going down under for a tackle. With the help of the other guard, Rose is pinned to the floor. His girlfriend can be seen in the rear of the courtroom. Other officers eventually enter, get Rose to his feet, and escort him out. For his courtroom tantrum, Jesse Rose was charged with property damage and assaulting a law enforcement officer. An additional 8 months was added to his original 14-month sentence. For our next story, we need to warn you. It contains images that may be disturbing for some viewers.
Sandra Twiggs.
Yes, ma'am.
We're at a bond hearing in Broward County, Florida, for a disturbing incident involving Judge Marilee Ehrlich.
Good morning, ma'am.
The defendant is 59-year-old Sandra Twiggs. Twig relies on a wheelchair. She suffers from asthma, diabetes, and pulmonary disease.
I've read the probable cause affidavit.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have to respond to each thing, but thank you.
At first, Judge Ehrlich is cordial toward the defendant. But that doesn't last.
Recent priors.
None.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm asking my courtroom staff.
okay,
That's okay.
okay.
I'll let you know each time I'm talking to you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You okay, ma'am?
Yes, I have asthma with COPD and I have a cough today.
Okay.
Okay.
Apparently, she and her adult daughter live in the same home, and they had a verbal altercation about who gets the fan.
The judge reviews the case, but there seems to be some information missing.
I don't know whose house this is. I don't know if she's in a position to evict. Excuse me, don't tell me.
The judge is beginning to show some frustration.
Does your daughter live with you, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. But she also
Excuse me, don't say anything beyond what I am asking you. Trust me, I am
telling you.
Ma'am.
She lives with my
ma'am.
daughter.
She lives with who?
She lives with me and she lives with my daughter in Miami.
Is that a different location?
Yes, in Coconut.
Excuse me.
The judge's impatience grows.
Ma'am, my one question to you. Can someone there give her water as a kindness? Ma'am, do you need water? Just nod your head.
Yes, and I'm breathing treatment.
Ma'am, I'm
asthma
not
with
here to
COPD.
talk to you about your breathing treatment.
I can't breathe.
Excuse me. Oh, Lord.
It's clear Twiggs is struggling, but the judge just gets increasingly irritated.
I'm not going to spend all day with her interrupting me. It's your
I'm
turn
done,
to
ma'am.
speak, counsel.
I'm sorry. I'm done.
Miss Twiggs, just stay silent for a moment.
Twiggs takes counsel's advice as Judge Ehrlich tries to finish up the hearing. But it's not enough to avoid Judge Ehrlich's wrath.
With you. Do you want her to just stay in the home but have no harmful contact with you?
Absolutely, yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor. I need her.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Instead of bond, the judge offers Twiggs pretrial release.
Yes, Your Honor.
Instead of money, do you want to be supervised by pretrial release?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Pretrial services.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, listen, and please.
Yes.
Once again, the judge berates the already rattled Twiggs.
Don't even say yes. Just listen. Can you hear me? Do you understand me?
Yes.
Do you have to check in with pretrial services by noon on Monday? Do you understand me?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. You can return her.
Does that mean I can go home?
An exasperated Judge Ehrlich seems relieved and the hearing's over, but the story does not end there. Just 3 days later, Sandra Twigg passed away in her sleep at home. After video of Twigg's appearance in court was made public, Ehrlich's treatment of the defendant came under intense scrutiny. Broward Chief Administrator Judge Jack Tudor asked Ehrlich not to return to work. While he didn't have the power to fire her, 2 days later, Ehrlich decided to announce an early retirement. We're in the Greenville County Courthouse in Greenville, South Carolina, for the sentencing of 19-year-old Tyler Scraggs. He's pleaded guilty to felony DUI resulting in death for a car crash that killed 16-year-old Haley Cantrell. News reports say Scraggs was driving 21 miles over the speed limit with meth, THC, and amphetamine in his system. That's when he lost control of his PT Cruiser, crossed over an embankment, and flipped the vehicle. Cantrell, who was riding in the car with Scraggs, was thrown from the vehicle and died at the hospital several days later. 2 others were hurt in the incident. No one was wearing a seatbelt. Scraggs has been in custody for 267 days. He faces up to 25 years in prison. Now in court, Tina Cantrell faces the man responsible for the death of her daughter.
This is heavy day. I'm trying to be stronger. I'm sorry.
Fighting to hold back tears, Cantrell even blames herself for the loss of Haley.
And I blame myself every day for letting her walk out that door.
Now it's Scraggs' turn to address Haley's family and friends. He's visibly shaken as he delivers his apology.
I'm very sorry. I know that y'all may not think I never think for that happened. No, I never did. I made a bad choice that day. When everything I had known was worth, it ate me alive for so long. And I just didn't know how to face you. So, I never wanted anyone to go through this every day of my life. I wish I could have changed and took her spot. I know you may not believe me, and I don't expect you to. I hope that you don't know that I really do. I am very sorry. I truly don't. I just want you to know, no matter what happens here, I'm not even sorry.
The time has come for sentencing. But first, Tina Cantrell reacts to Scraggs' statement.
Tyler, I believed you. You're 18 years old. But your family, I don't care if you get 20 years, your family can still see your face. They still can hear your voice. I go to a grave and sleep on my daughter's grave. And one day, I hope I can forgive you, because I have to forgive you to get to heaven before my baby dies.
Finally, Scraggs hears from the judge.
I have to take into consideration the harm you caused by your actions, and that's immeasurable.
The judge decides to sentence Scraggs to 10 years in prison, plus the 267 days time served. That's it for this edition of Court Cam. I'm Dan Abrams. Thanks for watching.